Alright guys, so this is part 2 of the cabin build. I have 9 days up here to get as far as I can. Everyone just left me. I'm alone for the next couple of days. My buddy's going to come back up in a few days, and then after that I think my brother might come up and help me, but other than that, it's just me. So we're going to see how far I can get. We're going to see how dangerous things go. Should be interesting. Let's get dusty.
So I took an entire week off of work and I came out north with the goal, the ambition on getting as far on this cabin as I'd possibly be able to within the week. Now the goal was to have it sheeted and basically weathered in. Did I get there? Well, you're going to have to watch this video to find out. Now the first thing I had to do was I had to put some foam down on the sill plate. Under the sill plate or on the sill plate. I had to put some foam right where I'm putting it. I think that kind of acts as like a weather barrier so I don't have drafts down from the sill plate to the concrete. I'm not really sure, but I have to put it here, so I put it there.
First board gonna get installed. I had to drill out over all of the studs so I can lay this down and then bolt it on for the sill plate. Let's see if the first board went well, my measurements. This will indicate how the whole cabin's going to go.
The basis of adding your sill plate is basically you're drilling holes in that board exactly where those anchors are. When you drop that board on, it fits completely flush with the sides of the walls, and guess what? First try, it made it, and that made my heart very happy.
Went beautifully. I should probably retire for now, because nothing else will probably be that good. That went so well. Now I just gotta do it around the rest of the perimeter.
Now let me apologize for being shirtless here, but let me explain. Anybody who lives in an area where the seasons change, you know that the first 80-degree day feels like the first 100-degree day, especially when it goes from 40 to 80 in 24 hours. So ahead of time, so I had to take essentially a bunch of 2x12s, triple beam them up, put them into this little slot against the wall, and then try to have all the seams lay out on those little pylons that are sticking out. It made for a lot of different cuts, and then of course you have to make sure that it's completely level since the entire cabin sits on this. So it took me a while trying to figure this out, trying to figure out how I wanted to have these set before I got it done. But eventually I was able to figure it out. People said I should have did one solid beam, but I couldn't move one solid beam by myself, so I had to do it like this. Turned out fine. It was easy to level, wasn't too bad. I shimmed up underneath on those pylons. Might stick some steel under there instead of having wood, but we'll see how things go. Now, I'm not really sure why, but I have to insulate my crawl space. That's the code. That's what they told me I have to do. So I have to put up this 2-inch pink foam board. All I'm doing to put this up is I'm using Tapticons here. I'm just drilling into the concrete and then just sinking a screw in there to hold them up. Not really 100% sure why I need this, but they say I need it, so I need it. And lucky for me, there's just a couple of little things to cut around here. So for this here, I'm just using the jigsaw, punch it out like Chuck Norris, and look at this fit. Perfect. I love when my holes match each other right there. I only had 2 holes to cut around and then the notches for the beam. Now I'm cutting that notch right now for the beam. And this is the most embarrassing part I'm going to tell you right now. See, it was wrong. That's the only piece of foam that letters out, and it really bothers me. But it's also in the crawl space and no one's ever going to see it. So unless you watch this video or you go down there, you'll never know that there's one piece of foam that's backwards.
Okay, so I had the sill plate and the main beam and all the foam I brought with me this time. Tomorrow, Menards is going to deliver all of the framing and the sheeting. So my plan was to spend today and tomorrow until they get here doing that. And I got it all done today. So hopefully they deliver early. I set this delivery up like 6 weeks ago, so I'm hoping that we're like #1 on delivery. But main beam is in and leveled. The insulation is up around the crawl space and the sill plate is on. So that's it for today. As of right now, we're about a half day ahead, but Menards could deliver super late tomorrow and put us way behind. But storm's starting to roll in and it's getting buggy. So I'll see you tomorrow. So as you can see, everything's soaking wet because it poured while he was unloading for me. You can see I filmed him backing in. It wasn't raining. The moment he started unloading, it just started pouring. So now all the lumber is soaked, which is incredible. Dude was super nice. He was able to get it spread out for me for the most part. It shouldn't be a whole lot of moving a lot of stuff around. I think I may have went way too low on some studs, but that's a problem for later. But it's now 2:30 in the afternoon on day 2. I couldn't do anything all day, and now everything is soaking wet, and I'm sure there's more rain coming. There's your update. I'm gonna try getting some floor joists in before it gets too crazy.
So this day was by far the worst day that I had, because not only did I have to start midday waiting on Menards all day to deliver, it just kept raining and getting everything wet, and then it would get really hot and everything would start to dry, and then it would rain again. And it did that from the 6 hours that I was working. I was completely soaked, and you'll see here I'm wearing muck boots, which are terrible to keep working in because my feet were just so wet and nasty. But all I had brought with me was my Hey Dudes. So Hey Dude, if you'd like to sponsor me, I did build pretty much the whole cabin wearing Hey Dudes, and people made fun of me for that. But anyways, yeah, so getting these floor joists in by myself wasn't too bad. These are 12-foot 2x10s. Just basically I'd take them, throw them down there, and then go and nail them out on 16s on center. Just the day was just terrible because it just rained and then didn't rain, and it was a day that I don't want to have to relive again, but I'm reliving it watching it with you guys right now.
I got this side pretty much up for the floor joists. There's a spot where I'm gonna have for stairs that run down. I'm gonna try to get the other side done tonight, but as you can probably tell, it is like completely downpouring on and off. I'm trying to get this done, but I think the weather might play me out here. I've only got about an hour into it so far, so it's not too bad for an hour, but I don't think I'm gonna get much more. So we have a sub pump pit down there with no sub pump. Probably will put one in eventually, but all the water that came down in what I'm gonna call the torrential downpour of day 2, it filled over the whole pump. So it sucks trying to crawl down there and then crawl out with a bucket. So I'm just doing it this way by myself. And just dumping her out. Oh yeah, there you go. That's what Daddy's talking about right there. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And I'm not really sure how much blocking I was supposed to have running down through these joists, but I ended up doing 3 rows, which means that I cut over 60 little pieces right here to fit in between. And luckily I was pretty much dead on, so they went in pretty well with very little trimming or anything like that.
All right, day 2, we got the floor joists all in, blocked in, ready to go. I think it looks really cool. I got the opening for the stairs to go down into the crawl space. Things got delivered late. I worked until it's 8:30 right now. I stink really bad. I am drenched from the rain still and sweat now. But we are now a little bit behind because I wanted to have the floor sheeted. But tomorrow morning we'll sheet on the floor and we'll go on from there. All right, day 3, the goal for today is to get this completely sheeted and then to get a majority of the framing done. It is light chance of rain. It's funny, when I had this all like on the way here, there was like, I think a chance of rain for one day, and now there's been a chance of rain for like every day. So that's great, but we're gonna try to get at least half of the stuff framed. I am gonna run out of lumber because I screwed up majorly. because I forgot to order lumber for the second floor. Half the building is made out of 14-foot 2x4 studs, and then the other half is 7-foot, because then we have another 7-foot floor on top of that. I forgot about that other floor, so I just ordered the same amount of 14-footers and 7-footers. I realized that when they delivered yesterday. We'll have to run to Menards today, which is fun because I could use some energy drinks. Let's see how square this thing is, because the foundation was laser beam level. So let's see how good they did on squaring. Probably pretty good. It's a little off, but more likely it's probably to do with my framing. It's only day 3 and I'm exhausted. I haven't even done much. Alright. Liquid nails. Lay all the subfloor.
Sheeting this up by myself. Lay down some liquid nails. Grab a 3/4 thick OSB board. Slap it down right there. And then just start nailing and then repeat over and over and over again. You can see the stack of OSB in the back. By the time I was done with this, it was pretty low. But yeah, it was just literally by myself, grab a piece, cut it if I needed to, and slap it up. Didn't really take too long, and I only went through, I think, like 6 or 8 things of liquid nails, but it got the job done, and it wasn't too bad of a job by yourself, especially because I was working, I can see, at waist level here. Now we're starting to get into the fun stuff, and that is building these walls. I started off with the small walls, the 7-foot high walls. I thought those would be a lot easier and those would throw up a little bit faster and I could really see some progress here. But all these are built, 16 is on center. You can see I got a header right in there that's going to be for a window. The first wall, the most exciting wall to put up. And getting this first wall up right here like this, it was really awesome. I was able to step back afterwards and really look at it and kind of take in what I was doing when I was building. But unfortunately, I still had a lot more walls that I had to build and throw up. But I enjoyed the framing. I've never done framing to this extent before, and it turned out pretty well. I was able to frame it smart enough that we were able to just throw up the real short sheets of OSB, which you'll see later. But yeah, just running that nailer down through every board, making sure everything was good and squared up and leveled, and tossing all the walls up here. What I spent most of that day doing was getting it all framed up. Now let's see here. See, when do I lift this whole wall? You like that? I like that. Oh yeah, break it down, big guy. Look at this. This is about a 24. Look at those two. I forgot to nail those. What a goofball. But this is a 24-foot wall, 7 feet tall. And look at that, with a door in there and 2 loose studs, because I didn't know what I was doing. But this wall wasn't also that bad either. Oh, and then I guess I'll show you this wall too while we're at it. Again, sorry for the shirt off, but it was hot. Now, this wall right here is actually going to be the front wall that's going to hold up the loft. And I'm actually building the other one right now. But those 2 walls are going to also be the walls for the bathroom and one of the bedrooms that we have.
Ran out of nails. Knew it was going to happen. I was hoping to get one of the 14-foot walls up in time, but that did not happen. Now I'm on my way back to the property after going to Menards. I have a tailgate bumper. I have a bed full of wood, but look at that. It's raining again. I think I took care of everything up there that would not be able to get wet, but hopefully, I didn't think it was supposed to rain, but apparently it's just going to rain every day. Fantastic. Hopefully it's not bad, because I don't feel like getting soaking wet again today. That was brutal yesterday. Yeah, but I haven't really given you guys a whole lot of talking in this, so it's going okay. It's going well. Walls are a little heavier than I thought. We're about to hit the 14-foot walls. I was hoping to get one of those up before I had to go to Menards, but then apparently, for some stupid reason, I thought 2,000 nails would be enough. 2,000 framing nails would be enough for the studs. It wasn't. So hopefully 4,000 is enough. If not, I guess I'll be going back again. But yeah, it's going all right. I shorted myself on a bunch of lumber, so we are about to make our way there. About to be back there, and then we'll start working in the rain again. Great day 3. This wall is 14 feet tall by 18 feet long, and luckily it just rained on it for an hour, so it's sopping wet. I have 3 bulge discs in my back. It's gonna be a fun one. Luckily, I'm gonna have to do one this size again, and then one that's actually gonna be about 4 feet longer. Let's see if we can get this thing up without killing ourselves or pushing it completely over.
And what you just witnessed was my soul being crushed, because I wanted to build this thing by myself 100%, and trying to lift this giant wall was showing me that that was not a good idea. Luckily, I have a good buddy who realized that my idea was insane and he was going to come up and help me regardless, and I'm very thankful for that, because this right here, this showed me that I was not going to be able to pull this off by myself. You can see I'm just standing here thinking about my life choices, trying to figure out what I can do, and the answer was nothing. And I just stand here looking sad, thinking how else I can be sad, and then I think, hey, I got one more idea. And then I try to lift from one corner, and that didn't work either.
Alright, so that just humbled me because I thought I could do that. Obviously could not. Cut the wall in half. I should be able to get it now. Dang it. I didn't want it, but I had to. Let's see. Should be a lot easier now.
Luckily, cutting the wall in half was kind of the way to go, because it sucked, but it was still manageable to get it up there. You just kind of get it up over your head, and then you just kind of walk it, and luckily there was a window that'd be directly in my way. Now I've got some scab boards on the side, so I can't push this wall completely over, but it still was pretty crazy. Crazy? I'm about to do something else crazy. I'm leaving a 14-foot wall standing vertically so I can run to get the nail gun because I didn't bring it over to me. But luckily, nothing fell. Now what you're about to see is this right here. Now you see this moment right here? That's the moment I knew I screwed up. That's the moment I stood back and looked at that 14-foot wall and thought, oh my gosh, I have to try to put drywall up that. This is insane. I felt the same way when I saw the foundation, a little freaked out, a little anxiety with the size of it. But seeing these 14-foot walls up here, I felt like I was way over my head.
So when I first saw the foundation, I got extremely overwhelmed by the size of it. I mean, I knew 24 by 30 how big that was, but to visually see it made me very scared. And now this, whole new level of terrified. I don't know why I didn't just make the footprint bigger and do 2 bedrooms downstairs. I know why, because I wanted a massive bedroom upstairs, but holy crap. 14 feet in the air, plus the 3 feet down here, and then trusses. I don't know, man. This is gonna be an adventure. Look at the size of it. Building it in 2 parts, way more better. Still terrifying to look at, but the next wall does have a double header in it and is about 3 feet longer.
Spending the whole day framing by yourself is kind of relaxing. I was able to just kind of get lost in what I was doing, made things go by really quick and really easy, especially because I used like the same size windows, so a lot of my measurements were all the same per wall, but it wasn't bad. Framing for the whole day, I enjoyed it. Don't know if I'd do it every day, but one day it wasn't too bad.
All right, we're gonna call it for the end of day 3. I got these 2 massive walls up. I've got the bathroom framed in, the bedroom framed in. I forgot, because it's been such a long day. I also did the subfloor today. It's been over 12 hours. Tomorrow, my buddy's coming up to give me a hand. I don't know if I'm gonna really film with him or not, but the goal will be to finish up the framing and then at least get half the sheeting done because I need him here to help me with the rafters that are supposed to be delivered tomorrow, but I haven't verified. Long day 3. I'm exhausted, but it looks good. I'm also worried that I didn't buy enough 2x4s on the second trip, so there's also that. See you tomorrow. Welcome to day 4. I am very, very sore. I think I blew out my whole bicep trying to lift that 14-foot wall yesterday. Been sleeping terrible, so I'm also extremely tired. It is 6:45 and I am on my way to Menards. Because according to my count last night, I have a buffer of about 3 2x4s. That's not enough. I got a buddy coming up today and tomorrow. He's gonna help me out. So I don't want to waste a trip to Menards or waste time when he's here going to Menards, because that'll be like an hour and I don't want to waste that hour. So I'm gonna just buy a buffer of 2x4s, buy a buffer of nails, and hopefully we don't have to come back, but we shall see what happens. There's your update.
Yeah, I didn't film a whole lot these next 2 days with my buddy here because mostly it was hammer time. He had 2 days to help me and I needed to take full advantage of that. And this is where the framing that I did that I was really proud of came in, because we were able to just keep throwing up full sheets of OSB without having to really do a lot of cutting. We work really well together. We've worked together for over 10 years, so we kind of know how the other one is going to think and act, and it made this sheeting this go way better, especially with having somebody to help me instead of being alone. Big shout out to the old guy that delivered these trusses for me. He ended up taking that trailer down a one-way seasonal road for a few miles and working like 3 extra hours that day just to make sure that I got my trusses on time. The company itself wasn't very impressed with them, but the delivery guy, he's a pretty cool dude.
Look at that good helper. Oh, he's cutting that board so good. Cut him. Yeah.
Started day 5, finished framing up the top loft with those 7-foot walls. Now, if you're going to feel bad that my buddy had to take 2 days off of work to come up and help me, don't feel too bad. He's the whole reason that I had to have this property. He's the one that got me into hunting. So when we needed a hunting property, I had to buy this, and then we needed a hunting cabin because he didn't like sleeping in the little trailer. So this is all his fault. I blame it on him completely. So I don't feel bad at all that he came up to help me for 2 days, even though I absolutely massively appreciate it. And that's not zooming on his butt, that was for the smiley face, but he had a great idea, and that idea was to take all of the roof sheeting and bring it up to that second loft area. This way, when we had to put the sheeting on the roof, we didn't have to lift it from the ground up. We could just lift it from that second story and bring it up. And this is the final wall, the final exterior wall that we had to lift and put into place. And that was a very big moment, having all of the exterior walls all up. As you can see, we did sheet the bottom first before finishing that up, and that was to help give the whole thing structure so we could stand up and be on top. And oh, we also did the whole loft. I didn't film any of that. I just realized that right now. You can see he would be on the scaffolding. I'd run a piece over like a good little boy, hand it up to him, and then he'd Incredible Hulk it up and he would nail it in. And we just did that around the entire building.
Sure.
Alright, you know what time it is? It's truss time. So whenever I tell anybody about us building this, the number one question that I constantly get is, how do we get the trusses up? Did we use a skylift? Did we do something? No. We together got it up. So let me walk you through what we did here. So Nick would go in first, and he would carry his end in right here, up the ladder. Come on, big guy. And he'd push it over his side. And then I would help guide it over the wall, and then once there was enough room in, I would start ascending the other side of the ladder like this. Now, these trusses are 26 foot long overall, so it wasn't too fun, but it wasn't too terrible. We'd get them set up like that, and then Nick would come back down and grab a 14-foot 2x4, and then he would do most of the momentum swing, and then I would kind of put my arm right there and I'd help push it up And we set blocks down, so once we got into a certain level, they would just drop and lock in. And then he'd have to come back up, and we'd have to structural screw it from underneath and make sure that it was spaced out evenly and all that fun stuff. But that's how we did it over and over and over again. And then thinking ahead, we took a bunch of them and swung them up and slid them against that back wall while we had the room to be able to make that swing. Because if we wouldn't have done that, we would have been out of room to swing and we would have been really screwed. So you can see we're pulling from the back wall there. I think we lined up about 4 or 5 of them at one time so we could pull them like that. Worked out really great. All right, end of day 5, I think it is. My help just left. Huge thank you to my buddy Nick. He came up, took 2 days off of work to help me out. I would not have got this done without him. I was going to build the whole thing myself. He thought I was crazy. I was crazy because there's no way I could have done it. So huge thank you to him for that. But he just left. So today we were able to finish up all of the framing on the second level. And then we got all of the outside sheeting done except the gable ends. But we did get all of the trusses all up. So those are all in place and ready to go. So we're looking good. I'm a little behind where I wanted to be because I wanted to get the roof all sheeted when he was here. But I have a few more days. Hopefully I can work some magic there. But this thing is massive. So again, huge thank you to my buddy Nick. I really appreciate the help. And we'll see you tomorrow. Day 6. Now I hope you enjoyed the introduction to day 6 because that took me quite a while to film and then have to edit all that out because there was like 3 minutes of video for just that. Now this day I realized that having somebody with me was way better because I had to climb up and down the scaffolding a billion times trying to sheet these eaves. But I would put a rope around the board and like this I would just bring the board right up to me. And again, not having a ground guy was terrible because it was literally up and down that scaffolding a lot. I didn't put a whole lot of time into this day, but I put just enough in to know that having somebody with you is pretty nice.
I was so scared up there. I had no idea what was going on. Gosh, in the beard again.
Like a glove. Oh, now I gotta switch up nails again. Yay, nails. Yay, nails. Hey, nails. Hey, nails. Let's do it. Let's do it. Really good. That was a 3-inch nail. Went all the way through like a shoe. Well, actually, you might as well watch the whole kit and caboodle, because now we gotta switch nails again. Now we gotta go back to 3s. Hey, nails. Hey, nails.
I hope you enjoyed my singing. This is the point. The scaffolding was great, but yanking it around like this is what really jacked my back up because the foundation being just done, a lot of the dirt around it was still pretty loose.
All right, wrapping up day 6. Real short day. I gotta go watch my son play baseball today, so I'm going home. I get a nice shower. I can get some clothes washed. But I got the eaves all sheeted, and I got the fascia up for there. Hopefully when I'm back, 'cause I'm coming back tonight, so hopefully tomorrow I can get this fascia all taken care of, and then I can start sheeting the roof. But yeah, not a whole lot got accomplished today by myself up and down that scaffolding about 47,000 and a half times. Ground man's way better. Got that side all done too. All right, I'm gonna go home, relax for the rest of the day, then hit it hard for the weekend. See you tomorrow. Day 7, and it rained this morning. Now I have puddles in the cabin. And I got this thing. Watch this. She's my shadow. See? See how she follows me? Now watch this. I'll go out here. See? See right there? Yep. Yep. She just follows me. So, brought the dog and my oldest up last night after my son's baseball game. My wife and my youngest will be up today. My brother's coming up to hopefully give me a hand here. I just started cutting the tails on the eaves up here, which is fantastic because the ground is so soft and moist now from all of the rain. The scaffolding is super safe now. Look, told you she'd follow me. So that's your update for today. I'm really hoping to get the roof most of the way, if not all the way, sheeted today. We'll see what happens.
Right now I'm just using that board as a spacer to make sure that all of the tails on my eaves are the same. This was kind of a pain since I had to go back and forth with the lift by myself, but you know what, got it done.
I've been watching you, watching you.
And a huge shout out to my mother-in-law for helping right here. So what I do is I lift the sheet up off the ground, and then my wife and my mother-in-law would grab the sheet. I'd run up the ladder. They would help hand it to me, and I would get it up there. My mother-in-law did a lot of construction with my father-in-law years ago, so she knew enough that it was extremely helpful having her do this. And she didn't have to do this, but she did it, and I think she kind of enjoyed it. But that was the whole idea on this whole cabin build, was as a family getting to make all of these cool memories. I'll say my mother-in-law kept asking if she could cut the boards for me so I could stop getting down. So I let her cut this one, and my son's over here helping his grandma brace out the line that I needed so that we could have it. He's even measuring it with her. I let her cut a couple boards. One of them was pretty bad. It was an inch out of square, and after that she decided that, see my face right here? That's the face of I could have cut that 4 times faster. But that's what the whole thing's about. My brother's here helping too. He helped get all the sheeting up. My mother-in-law kind of backed off on that one, and he took that over. So huge shout out to both of them for helping out. They didn't have to help out. I didn't ask anybody to come and help with the cabin. Everyone who's came up so far has been kind of volunteered, except for Nick. I made him help because the whole thing was his idea and his fault. So, but anyway, getting the roof sheeted up there by myself was very scary. Did not enjoy it. Throwing the roof clips in between each sheet, ran out of those. Had to run back to the store and get more because that was kind of a common theme. I'm also nailing way too high here. Eventually, I'm going to have to cut out that ridge vent, and those nails are going to be in the way. But that's a problem for a different day. And here's my kids. We were just playing. Like, my son decided to rig up some little pulley system on the scaffolding so they could bring the bucket up, and they were shooting basketballs out the window and stuff like that. Again, that's what the whole idea on this whole cabin was just to have fun and be together as a family. So I'm up there. My wife's got the camera here. I'm 14 feet up in the air at least, crapping my pants, getting all scared, but getting it done.
Gosh, your mom's I wrote down as you were saying. 37 and a half? 37 and a half. Yeah.
For drilling hole. Okay. I need this one for the screws. Good job. Let's see if it works.
What? Think about it.
Yeah, I need a handrail. Look at that, John. Dad, I did it. Nice.
You may want to throw one on the bottom because if not, it's going to sink real far into the dirt. But
Oh, I knew that.
whole goal for this day was to get the ice and water and the paper all on the roof so that the roof would almost be waterproof. I did this, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I took 2 steps off the ladder when I was done, and well, this is what the days turned into. It poured for 3 hours, literally after I got 2 steps off the ladder. And this is the first meal that we ever ate together as a family in the cabin. My brother cooked French toast, and this is my first ever nap in the cabin. And you can see it didn't go very well because people wanted to bother me. But we got a lot of firsts out, we made a little bit of memories, and it was a good time regardless of the rain. And my son messing with me while I'm trying to take a nap.
We've spent 8 solid days working on this. My back gave out a couple of days ago. We've got all the 4 exterior walls up. The roof has been sheeted and papered with some drip edge on it. And that's as far as I can make it in 8 days. Thank you so much to everybody that has helped me in the past week. It has meant a lot. And thank you to my wife's friend at work who let us borrow the scaffolding, because that really came in handy. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's a lot more to do, and keep in mind that this has not been inspected yet, but it will be. So if I did something wrong, I'll find out about it later. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys when we work on this thing again. See you.